News at this hour, the remaining miners who were trapped in a flooded cave in Laos safely evacuated. This is the end to a 10-day ordeal. And ABC's Britt Clennett has more on how they were finally rescued. Good morning, Britt.
Good morning, Rhiannon. Well, what a relief for the families of these 5 miners. Now, all of them out, those 5 guys, and what an ordeal. You know, they had to go through these extremely narrow tunnels in pitch black. I'm told they had to pull themselves through while holding their faces to the ceiling in order to finally reach the mouth of the cave.
Breaking overnight, 4 more miners trapped inside a flooded, treacherous cave system in Laos rescued this morning after more than a week underground. Coordinators saying 4 of them came out of the cave by themselves after the water level dropped, passing the rescue team who was heading there.
Those guys essentially were carried through to the medical tent, laid down. They've been put under space blankets. They've been given oxygen. They've been set up, hooked up to IVs. They're very tired. They're very dehydrated. They're malnourished. And so, yeah, they're recovering right now.
2 are believed to still be missing. The first of the men emerging from the depths of the cave just after 10 p.m. local time Friday night after a plan to pump out the water worked. Divers painstakingly guiding the men on an 800-foot journey winding through tight tunnels. The first survivor seen crawling on his hands and knees through the passages. The man appearing to be okay but transferred to a hospital for further medical examination. The group of 7 miners went missing 10 days ago while they were searching for gold. A torrential rainstorm moving in, inundating the cave with water and trapping them. Rescuers navigating these jagged, narrow tunnels and murky water, eventually finding 5 of the 7 trapped men huddling together on a rock.
That first minute that I found them, they are crying. They're a lot of hope to go back. I'm also cried too when I first saw them.
Now, that rescue diver telling me that the search continues for the 2 who remain missing, that this is a multinational effort. He wants to tell the world that this is what folks are capable of when we work together. Gio?
It sure is. Unbelievable video. Thank goodness they're okay. What a survival story they now have. Britt Clennett, thank you so much. All right, here at home, we're going to turn to the weather here and some cool temperatures in the Northeast. Meteorologist Brittany Bell from our New York station WABC is right here. Brittany, good morning.
And good morning to you, too. So, Gio, we're taking a step back when it comes to temperatures again across the Northeast, and the wind is making it feel even cooler. Here's a look outside in Provincetown, Massachusetts. You can see the trees waving in a gusty breeze. They are under a high wind warning for gusts up to 65 miles per hour. Also a wind advisory along coastal sections of New England when it comes to winds gusting up to 30 to 35 miles per hour today. Still breezy on Sunday, but at least winds won't be as strong. And we add rain into the mix, soaking rainfall across New England, turning more so scattered on Sunday. But warmer temperatures are right around the corner. Look at Boston, 54 today and then 71 tomorrow. Even improving in New York City today, 64, but up to 77 Sunday and Monday. Whit?
All right, Brittany, thanks so much. We'll check back in just a bit. Now to the new details on that deadly bus crash on I-95 south of Washington, D.C. 5 people killed, more than 40 injured. ABC's Andrew Dymburt is joining us with the latest. Andrew, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. New questions this morning after that horrifying wreck involving a passenger bus. Investigators say the bus barreled into a backed-up traffic zone, triggering this deadly chain reaction crash.
This morning, an urgent investigation underway after this fatal crash on I-95 in Stafford County, Virginia.
Multiple people jumping out of windows, multiple vehicles on fire.
A bus slamming into 6 cars on the southbound interstate, killing 5 people, including 2 children, with dozens injured. A terrifying scene in the middle of the night, with passengers trying to escape, forced to jump out of windows. You can see first responders racing through cars. Officials say the commercial bus bound for Charlotte from New York City with 34 people on board failed to slow for traffic while approaching a work zone. Passengers on the bus telling ABC News the driver was flying.
When the bus flipped, it flipped me over, threw me up out my seat, and threw me on top of a man in glass.
Judy, sitting at the front of the bus, says the driver was swerving before the crash.
I was treated, injured to my head, my left eye, my teeth, my legs, my neck.
4 of the fatalities are from one vehicle, 1 from another. The youngest victims, a 13-year-old girl and a 7-year-old boy.
The driver was also injured, and police say they are reviewing potential criminal charges. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy also says federal investigators are now looking into the driver's licensing and training. Gio.
Yeah, and we are thinking of all of those families right now. Andrew Dimberg, thank you so much. We're going to turn now to two mid-air flight scares. The latest one happening overnight on a flight from Chicago. At one point, air traffic controllers actually thought that there was a hijacking attempt.
Overnight, panic in the skies. Federal authorities investigating after a United Airlines flight was diverted due to what the airline says was a security concern caused by an unruly passenger.
Yeah, we'll land, take a left turn, just have law enforcement stand by.
The flight from Chicago, originally set for Minneapolis, was forced to land in Wisconsin. You can hear air traffic controllers informing a nearby pilot of a potential hijacking.
It's actually a situation where we might have to close the airfield due to potential hijacks.
United says the person was quickly subdued by law enforcement officers on board. Once they landed, no one was injured. A similar incident unfolding just days earlier on an American Airlines flight from Athens to New York, forced to land in Rome due to what they say was a disruptive customer. Police seen crowding near the front of the plane as passengers look on. American says the passenger was quickly removed from the aircraft, telling ABC News the safety and security of our customers and team members is a top priority. We thank our customers for their patience and our crew members for their professionalism.
And on that latest United incident, we've reached out to local and federal authorities. We're waiting to hear back from them, but we're told that that passenger is still in police custody.
What a wild story.
It really is.
Gio, thank you.
Yeah.
And this morning we are learning more about what may have caused that deadly explosion at an apartment complex in Dallas. The NTSB is now on the scene, and ABC's Morgan Norwood joins us now with the updates. Morgan, you were there earlier this week. What do we know this morning?
Yeah, such a tragic situation there. Investigators are now shifting from search and rescue to finding answers and now mounting questions over who hit that gas line, whether proper safety protocols were followed, and what sparked this deadly explosion that killed 3 people.
This morning, federal investigators are combing the wreckage, zeroing in on what caused that deadly explosion that leveled this apartment building. A team from the National Transportation Safety Board on the scene as questions mount from that gas leak turned fireball that killed 2 women and a child.
2-story apartment complex, natural gas explosion, multiple victims.
New video showing the destruction left behind. One woman from a neighboring building returning to find her entryway filled with debris. Oh my God. Authorities say 19 of the 22 units of the 2-story building were occupied by families at the time of the blast.
It happened so fast, all you heard, boom, like, and then I shook like I thought something was hitting me, to be honest. I thought I was gonna fall.
Late Friday, authorities saying their search of the building was complete and that everyone was accounted for, and crediting fire crews with saving lives that arrived in about 15 minutes and were securing the scene before the building exploded.
So they did everything they were supposed to do right before they were going to enter and evacuate the complex. Then it exploded.
And this morning, as the NTSB enters day 2 of their investigation, the owner of the Clyde Apartments building, claiming a company working for the property's future buyer, was conducting soil testing for a redevelopment project when a natural gas line was struck. Investigators still unclear about the exact cause, but now looking into whether proper safety procedures were followed before the digging began.
And this morning, there are competing accounts about what happened before this explosion. The company buying the property said it hired an engineering firm to conduct soil testing, but that engineering firm telling us that its crews weren't even on site at the time of the blast, and says that 811 utility locating had already been completed before the work began. So competing accounts about what actually led up to this explosion here.
My goodness.
Finger pointing continues.
Yeah, really dramatic. All right. Thank you for your reporting all week long, Morgan. Thank you. And the death toll is now up to 9 in this week's disaster at a Washington State paper mill. Authorities say crews have now recovered 7 bodies and 2 more people are still missing and presumed dead. The recovery work slowed by the presence of hazardous chemicals on that site after a tank holding millions of gallons of those chemicals collapsed on Tuesday. What?
Gio, now to the possible deal between the U.S. and Iran that would reopen the Strait of Hormuz and end the American blockade. ABC's senior White House correspondent Selena Wang joins us with the latest. Selena, still a lot of questions about the way forward. Good morning.
Still a lot of questions, Whit, and the president yesterday spent more than 2 hours with his national security team. But as of this morning, there's still no deal with Iran. President Trump has been insisting for weeks that the 2 sides are close. So the question now is whether this time is any different.
This morning, President Trump weighing a decision on a deal with Iran. Trump huddling in the Situation Room for over 2 hours with his national security team on Friday after saying just hours earlier he'd make his final determination in that very meeting. But this morning, still no announcement. Trump's demands are that Iran must reopen the Strait of Hormuz, agree to never develop a nuclear weapon, and allow the U.S. to remove Iran's highly enriched uranium. The president insisting Iran is desperate for a deal.
Iran is very much intent. They want very much to make a deal. So far, they haven't gotten there. We're not satisfied with it, but we will be. We will be.
But the deal on the table is only expected to extend the ceasefire, not permanently end the conflict. And Iran says their nuclear program, the issue at the heart of this conflict, is not a part of these negotiations. Iran also demands the U.S. release $12 billion in frozen Iranian assets, but the president says no money will be exchanged until further notice. An Iranian spokesperson saying that message exchanges are continuing, but no final agreement has been reached. The diplomatic push coming after the U.S. and Iran exchanged strikes earlier this week. A U.S. official tells ABC News the U.S. struck an Iranian ground control station as it prepared to launch a one-way attack drone believed to be a threat to U.S. forces and shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. forces also shooting down 4 other one-way Iranian attack drones. Iran firing back, releasing video claiming to show an American base targeted in the region.
We're now 13 weeks into this war, and President Trump has made it clear he's in no rush to make a deal, even as Americans continue to feel the economic pain. One new analysis finds that this war has already cost the average American household an extra $450 in gas and energy costs, Rhiannon.
It's going to keep costing us for now. Thank you so much, Selena Wang. New Jersey's governor sent state police to the scene of those protests outside a federal immigration center on Friday. Protests at Delaney Hall in Newark started a week ago after immigrant advocates said detainees had launched a hunger strike. Since then, protesters have clashed repeatedly with officers. In a statement, the New Jersey Attorney General said that a limited number of people deployed fireworks and threw canisters at law enforcement with.
Rhiannon, now to the extraordinary move by a federal judge essentially reopening President Trump's lawsuit against the IRS, the same case that led to the controversial so-called anti-weaponization fund. ABC's Olivia Rubin is here to break it all down. Olivia, good morning.
Whit, good morning. It's a major blow to President Trump and the Justice Department. That judge who oversaw Trump's $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS now considering reopening the case to investigate allegations of fraud. The extraordinary order from Judge Kathleen Williams coming after Trump dismissed his suit in exchange for the creation of that controversial $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund. Now Williams ordering Trump's personal attorneys and DOJ to respond to allegations submitted to her claiming collusion between Trump and the Justice Department, asking whether or not the court was the victim of a fraud. The ruling marks a striking reversal after the case had already been closed. The White House has not commented, and Trump now has until June 12th to respond. And meanwhile, another judge in Virginia temporarily blocking payments from the fund entirely in a lawsuit brought by a former January 6th prosecutor. That hearing also set for June 12th, Whit.
And Olivia, the president also facing another setback regarding his name on the Kennedy Center.
That's right. President Trump has put his own name and likeness on a number of government entities since retaking office. But now a federal judge ruling the renaming of the iconic Kennedy Center to the Trump Kennedy Center was illegal, saying only Congress has that power. Also blocking the closure of the center for renovations. The judge actually ordering Trump's name be removed from the building within 2 weeks. Trump responding in part that the judge should, quote, be ashamed of himself and that he now has no interest in continuing his efforts with the center, saying he would transfer power back to Congress. Gio.
All right, Olivia, thank you so much. And also in Washington, former Attorney General Pam Bondi told lawmakers during a closed-door interview that errors were made in the redaction of the Epstein files before their release. She also said under oath that, to the best of her knowledge, all of the files required by law to be released have been made public. President Trump removed Bondi in April after sources said that he grew frustrated with her handling of the Epstein files. Whit?
The FDA has approved a needle-free insulin treatment for pediatric patients with diabetes 6 years and older. The drug Afrezza has been on the market since 2014, but was only approved for use in adults. Afrezza is inhaled and is meant for meal times only. It does not eliminate the use of needles in anyone with type 1 diabetes. But doctors tell ABC News it allows more choices in diabetes management. It is not for use in people with asthma and other lung conditions.